Welcome everybody here to the Real Estate Deli. Again, I'm glad to have you. We have a sponsor to thank. I want to thank ePlanet Mortgage. ePlanet Mortgage is investor friendly and customized for your mortgage solutions. If you want to reach out to them, I'll post a link up in the picture, and you can reach out to ePlanet Mortgage. I'm sure you gladly appreciate your business. And if you like learning about real estate, please smash that like button and subscribe. I'll appreciate that. And let's get into our guest today. Today we have someone from our community. It's called the Owners Club uh, Collective, I call it. It's a community started by Pace Morby and Jamil Damji. And I'd like to welcome you guys, Rex Shippy. Thank you for coming, Rex.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. So glad to be here.
I'm glad. Yeah. So Rex was reaching out to people in the community that he wanted to appear on some podcasts, and a friend of a friend, I just followed up and linked with him, and then I reached out, I took action, and I reached out to Rex, and Rex obliged. So thank you again, Rex.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm in an accountability group where we're going back, each week we're doing different things, and one of them was to get on more podcasts. So I booked a whole bunch of them. So I'm really excited to be on here. This is awesome.
That's awesome. Again, it's always about taking that action, right? Sometimes we start doubting ourselves and we get caught in that space, and all of a sudden, nothing happens, right? So it's always good to have accountability partners and just do it, right? Just get out there and, like I said, jump into the pool, cannonball yourself in there.
Right? Yep. That's it. Yep.
Right? So yeah, so let's get into Rex. Rex, where are you located? Where are you from?
So I am in Idaho, Boise area. Nampa is where I'm at, but close to Boise.
Okay, that's California is a neighboring state, right? I believe.
Far? Ish. Yep. Ish. I think there's Oregon, Nevada in between. But yeah, so we are on the western side.
Yeah, because a lot of people have migrated there, I believe, right, from California as well.
Yeah, California, Oregon, Washington, all of those states, but a lot of Californians have moved in. They've made business great.
Yeah, that's what I was leading to. So that market must be a good market for you. Must be booming, especially a place like that. And I guess there's a lot of opportunity for you. Let's say.
Yeah, well, it's a big state, but a small market. And it's a very competitive market. So it is a competitive. So I was born and raised here, so I've lived here my whole life. So I know the areas better than most. So which gives me, in a sense, an unfair advantage in this market.
Okay. And obviously you're in the real estate space. The real estate space encompasses a lot of things, right? What specifically is it that you're doing in the space?
So buy and hold.
Okay.
And buy and hold single family homes right now. We also own a corporate housing company here as well.
Oh, awesome. And when you began your journey, what led you to the real estate industry, or like, again, you have thoughts to do something, right? What opportunities are out there, and what made you say real estate?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I had small businesses prior, bought and sold and built small businesses prior. I didn't know anything about investing. That was nothing. My parents didn't do it. My grandparents didn't do it. My family, siblings, nobody did that. So it was a new world to step into. But some friends of mine and one of my brothers were really pushing me to read a book. And at the time, I was cutting trees for a living. I was a climber. So I decided, I'm like, all right, I will read this book. But I'm not going to pay any money for a book. I never used to be a book reader. I love them now, but I never used to be. So I went on YouTube and I found a free version of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
The Bible, let's say, of real estate.
Yeah, pretty much. So I read that book, and that was when my mindset shifted. By reading that book, I realized that having money problems is a choice. It's not just something we're born in and raised in. Maybe we are raised in it, but if we stay there, it is a choice. So that's what got me realizing I can do a lot more with my life and then where it's at. I can have more of a future in a sense than where I'm at. And from there, I began looking into like stock market, day trading, all of that stuff. But I didn't know anything about it. It's not something that I can physically touch,
Yeah.
so I don't know any of that, but I didn't know anything about real estate either. It was all foreign to me. But as I was working all through town and stuff, all my different cutting trees down and stuff, I started noticing people around that were fixing up houses and selling houses. My grandpa was in the mobile home business for 50 years. He would fix up mobile homes and sell them, that type of stuff.
Okay.
So I seen a house there that had previously burnt. And I'm like, you know what? That would be so cool if I could buy that. I could fix it up and then I could sell it. And I started getting interested in the real estate once I started noticing this stuff, fixing stuff up, selling stuff, something that I could actually reach out and touch, something that I could see. But more importantly was it's a vehicle that I could use to gain financial freedom while leaving a visual footprint on my community of a legacy that I never came from.
Awesome.
I can leave that for my family. That's a visual footprint. I could say, I bought that house. We fixed up that house. We did that. It's something visual that I could see, I could touch, and my family could see and touch.
Yeah, I guess that journey, reading that book, these properties have always been fixed around you. I think so. What happened is kind of the law of attraction happened, kind of, sort of, right? And now you started noticing in a different way, right? You kind of you saw it and you said, "Well, this is something I can do," right? And it actually happened, right? And then like you said, I want a red car when I grow up, and all of a sudden you see all these red cars, right? So things like that kind of happen, right? The universe creates those opportunities sometimes, and sometimes we don't listen to the whispers. So it's awesome that you were led down that journey just by reading a book, right? And it just expanded your horizons. That now you even cast a vision, right? You said, "Wow, I can create a legacy and change the footprint of my community as well." Right. So now you're setting a trend for let's say your family to see as well, right? Like you said, your family wasn't from this space. It's something new to you, right? But you're making that change, right? You're the one you're the tip of the spear, I say, right? And you're making all these changes in your community. That's incredible. Congratulations. Good for you for taking that, having the courage to follow up and doing stuff, right? And making things happen.
Yeah, thank you. It was a foreign thing to me. I didn't know it, but the book got me thinking, how can I make my money work for me? That's something I just couldn't get past. I'm like, to me, investing was the fact that I would go buy a new piece of equipment. Then I would take that piece of equipment and I would go put it to work. I would be personally out using that piece of equipment to make more money. To me, that's what I thought investing was. And then when I realized I could actually just put my money somewhere and I could be still doing my daily work, but then that money would be working for me. I'm like, if I put $20,000 somewhere, I will have 20,000 employees out there working for me 24/7, 365.
I love that concept, how you put the dollars to work day and night, right? Marching to the beat of the drummer. That's incredible. And what was your first property that you delved into? Let's say, hey, let's do this project.
Yeah, so I had my personal property. I grew up with creative finance because I've never had a bank loan, never on anything, not even a vehicle. So I grew up with creative finance, but I never took it into the real estate investing world. But once I really got started in the real estate, I just started talking to everybody. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing this. And just literally talking to people. But one morning, I joined Sub 2 January of 23, a year and a half ago now. But from prior to that, a few months prior to that, I started really doing a lot with real estate and just talking to everybody. But then come about February, I put everything on the back burner, real estate related, and just focused on mindset, because you can't do it if you don't have the mindset to do it.
Yes.
And just started focusing on mindset. But my first property, literally, someone that I'd been talking to prior about a couple other deals, several months prior, a guy that I know well, he called me up one morning and said, "Hey, Rex, I was going to buy this property over here. It's from a wholesaler, but I decided not to. Is it something you want?" It's $9,000 to the seller and a 3.9% interest rate on an owner carry for 30 years. And I'm like, yeah, I want that. It was a little house. It needed fixed up. It needed a lot of work. But I'm like, absolutely. Wired money that same day. I actually partnered with someone on that one. We both brought in 50% of the funds, and we bought it together and still own it together.
Oh, that's awesome. How things work out.
So it was been a great learning thing. So it's a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. We bought it, went down there. I live 2 hours away from it. I was going to do all the renovation ourselves.
Wow.
Which 2 hours away, I'm working all week, drive down there on a Saturday morning, work, drive back home. But we went down there after we closed on the property, and there was a little shed in the backyard we was going to tear down. We turned out that it was an ADU. It had a foundation, it had water, sewer, power, everything. So we ended up having to basically tear it down and rebuild it. But we closed on that property May 6th of 23. And it took us a year. We held that property before a year before we ever put a tenant in there. We did work ourselves. We did a bunch of work ourselves. Finally, we hired a contractor. They went in there. I was new to dealing with contractors. They went in there, drug it out for 6 months longer than they were supposed to, walked away with $10,000 and never finished the project. And they did some work, walked away with a bunch of money that I'd paid them. So I got new contractors in there, got it finished, and then we rented it out. We held that property for a little over a year before we rented it out. But we had amazing learning experience through it.
Absolutely. Especially when you're a newbie, you don't know what direction to go. You're dealing with contractors. These contractors, it could be a dime a dozen, and it's the luck of the draw who you kind of end up with. Especially you don't have no references, you don't have no, what I'm saying, you not have been long in the business to say, oh, I know this guy's reputation. All these little factors that you never know until you are in the space to realize, wow, these things are happening to me, and how do I pivot and how do I adjust, right, to make this, to get this to the finish line, let's say, right?
Yep. That is one thing that holds most people back, is because they don't know it and they're too scared to go try it. There's things I could have did different, even though I didn't know what I was doing. I should have called references. I shouldn't have paid him 50% up front. There's a number of things that I did wrong that I shouldn't have did, even as a new person and not knowing how to deal with contractors. I knew so little about real estate. So on this property, there was an agent involved in there too. So I was buying it from the wholesaler. So they sent over the assignment contract for me to sign. But I asked the agent, I said, after we was already, initially going to buy it. And then I asked the agent, I said, when are we going to sign contract? And the agent said, you already did sign contract. That's how little I knew about real estate. I didn't know what a contract was. I didn't know I didn't know any of that. She sent me over some DocuSign thing and I signed it, and I didn't realize I just signed the contract on the property.
Yeah.
And most people are they need to know everything.
Yes.
But you don't. That's what holds everybody back.
Yep. Absolutely true. Just all that doubt creeps in, and you just, that fear, all that creeps. And you mentioned something about mindset, that you had kind of had to realign yourself, right, to get your mind right, to move forward, right? Can you talk us through about what you meant by that, and what did you do to kind of align yourself to where you wanted to go?
Yeah. So the mindset, it's been a continual journey, and it will be forever. But just the mindset of, is this actually possible? Is this real? Can I do this? All the doubt, all the, especially if when you have friends and family telling you that'll never happen, you'll never be able to make that happen. That
Yeah.
type of stuff, and as a person, as human, we see something and we're like, oh, we're going to go make that happen right now. It's going to take time to happen. It took me from time I really joined a program, but time I really got serious about real estate, it was 10 months before I made a dime with real estate. Is all it did was costed me money for 10 months.
Yeah. That
And
stuff happens.
and just as a person, we want to make money in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen. You start getting discouraged. You have other things happening. But a really big part of it was just simply, I didn't have the vision, the detailed vision of where I wanted to go. So therefore, I didn't know what I needed to do. I didn't know what my steps were. So I didn't know what to do. I was just kind of in this wandering world of listening to all kinds of random Zooms and videos and not taking action. We all get told, take action, take action. And that's a great thing. And I did a lot of that, and I figured out what I didn't want to do. But there's also a point where you have to find out, what's my goal? What's my target? What are
Yeah.
my steps to get there? Take action that's going to be moving that needle forward.
Yes, it's action with direction, right? So you were kind of rudderless for a while, right? You were there pushing through, but pushing to what direction? Like you said, you didn't catch that vision yet, right? And I totally get it. When you let's say you mentioned something about people who say you can't do this, you can't do that. Those are what I call your dream killers, right? They start projecting their negative thoughts, and they start, all these, I can't do it, and now you're second guessing yourself on top, right? So now you have to filter all that out again, right? And be like, wow, uh these are not the people I need to be surrounding myself, or talk about these things that I want to accomplish, right? So I can relate. I don't speak about what I want to do to certain people because I know they're going to project, right? And I don't want to hear it, right? So I rather protect my dreams, right? From the dream killers themselves, right? And you also mentioned something about that instant gratification. You want to see a return on your investment. And that's kind of maybe more of a like a 9 to 5 mentality where you get a weekly salary or every 2 weeks, right? So you always kind of conditioned to get that payout, right? And when you're a solopreneur starting out a new business, it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? It takes,
Yep.
let's say, 10 months for you. It took 10 months to kind of get somewhere, right? To catch some traction. So those things are all learning lessons for new entrepreneurs who don't have experience, to say, wow, it's a journey. It's a lot of mindset, a lot of self development, right? Or I call this a journey in self discovery, right? And it just happens to be through real estate for us, let's say, right? And you mentioned that continuous process of working on your mindset. I do that as well. I know Jamil Damji, he holds a Sunday set every Sunday. He holds a session at 4 o'clock, and I'm always present just to always, you're looking for all new information or new ways that you can move forward, right? When you not feel you're not aligned and you just need that quick tune up, right? And it never, like you said, it's
Yep.
continuously, it never stops.
And the easiest part, it's when we think about mindset, the easiest way to change the direction of our lives is to simply change the information that we consume. So instead of consuming negative information, let's just start consuming positive information. That right there is the easiest way to literally change our whole lives. I didn't so much stop talking about what I was doing. I continued to talk about what I was doing, and I started talking about it to more people,
Awesome.
but it started weeding those people from my life. It
Mm.
just, because for me, how I have bought 90% of my real estate is just by talking to people, letting people know what I'm doing. And they're like, hey, I know so-and-so over here. They're wanting to sell their house. So just talking to people, even if there's going to be that natural separation in a sense. If there's someone that is always negative about what you're doing versus positive about what you're doing.
Sure. Sure. I like that perspective as well. Thank you for instilling that. Let's get into something I call Deli time. Deli time is like something where we forecast where you are now and where you want to be. Let's say in 3 to 5 years, what's your journey going to be? What's your vision? What do you see yourself doing? Can you expound on that?
Yeah. So in the next 3 years from now, so we're continuing to buy real estate, and right now we're really focused on our corporate housing company. So in the next within 3 years, the goal is to be housing 300 families. So every month we have 300 families that are housed throughout our houses and throughout houses of other landlords and homeowners.
Wow. And how do you can you break that down a little more granularly to our viewers?
So we house anybody that needs a place to stay for 30 days or more in a furnished property. So anybody out there, everybody that needs something, those are our clients that we house. We only do this in Idaho. So we are only Idaho. The goal is to own the Idaho market. Right now, we are currently the #1 temporary housing provider in the state of Idaho, but we're just looking to 30x that or 10x that, so we're just really looking to grow that in this market. So if a homeowner has a house that is for rent, let's say furnished house, I have someone reach out to me and say, hey, Rex, I need a place for 6 months. And I'll be like, okay, what do you got? What's your situation? And then I'll go find someone, because I have a whole network of people. People bring me properties like, hey, can you rent out my property? Can you rent out my property? I'll find a house, and then I will put the tenants in their house.
Okay, that was my next question. I say, wow, you must have a team, let's say, or network to filter to get all these things accomplished, right? Like, so you're out there already.
Right now, it's just me and my wife. We do have, over the last 3 months, we've had contract-based operations managers in place, building out a lot of systems. We're just making our first hire. Actually, they're coming on board this week, so super excited about that.
That was awesome.
That'll be a huge help to us because it's very busy right now.
Good, Rex.
Yeah, so that's kind of the corporate side of it. For the purchasing houses, I've never been one to wholesale, so I've never wholesaled anything. I've only bought. Just looking to continue growing that, and we're still buying right now. We did our first fix and flip a few months ago, or started on it. It just barely hit the market a couple weeks ago. So I put the deal together. I brought the money, and I structured the whole deal and brought the money. And then I brought in a partner to manage the whole project and sell it. So I've delegated, I don't need 50%. I don't need 100% of it. I'll take 50% of the profit, and I'll give them 50% if they can manage the project. So that's our first fix and flip, but our goal is buy and hold everything.
Awesome. So that's very interesting. So you brought this deal, and you brought in the funds for this deal, and then you partnered. You brought someone in to manage the project, right? And and has eyes on the project all the time, super consistent, right? And how did that project turn out? Were there any hiccups?
It turned out amazing. There was hiccups in the project because she's dealing with contractors and contractors quitting. I think I was at the house 3 times. I looked at the house, we negotiated, bought the house, and I was over there 2 other times throughout the whole process. She did everything. I can manage contractors, and I could do a fix and flip, but she's experienced in that. She knows how to do that stuff. She did 12 of them in the last 2 years.
Okay.
So it's a waste of my time to try to take my time and go manage a fix and flip when she has access to the contractors. She knows how to manage the contractors. She can design the house better than I can, but yet I can go raise the capital and I can get the deal. I can structure the deal and I raise the capital for it. So
that's
I
incredible.
had someone bring in 100% funding. So they funded the purchase price. They funded the 100% of the renovations, and she managed the project. Private money lender, they're going to get their return. She's going to make some money. I'm going to make some money, and it's going to be a beautiful house for someone.
Oh yeah, and I guess now it's kind of rinse and repeat. Let's say for that arm of your business, which since you kind of see the situation, you accomplished it, and I guess, like I said, it's now rinse and repeat, right? It's kind of you found your who and not how, right?
Yep. So it's just once this one sells, and then I'll be looking for another one. And I'm not going to so much put a ton of time into looking for them, but people know that I'm looking for something, and people continually bring me stuff. So I'm just kind of sorting through stuff, and I'm a little bit picky about what I buy. So
Okay.
once I find the right one, we'll do it again.
And you said
Whether it's
picky,
with this lender or whether it's with someone else who has money that wants to fund a deal.
Yeah. So what do you mean by picky? What is it that you look for?
So so many of the fix and flips that come across my plate, they're just not good deals.
Okay.
They're just not a good deal. So if it doesn't make me excited about it, then it's a no.
Okay.
You got to be able to make profit. This one, we're not going to make like a crazy spread on it, but I opened up an opportunity for multiple people. The person that brought me the lead, they're going to get paid out of it. So I opened up an opportunity for a whole bunch of people to make money. So that's a win for me, but I have to be able to make money. Someone else has to be able to make money. My lenders have to be able to make money. So it's got to be something good enough that everybody can make money. And a lot of them that I see right now are just too skinny. They're just not enough there.
Okay, just kind of deal specific. If it's nothing there, then carry on, move on. And sometimes
I'm not doing as much.
I'm sorry.
I'm not doing as much heavy rehab. It's more lighter rehab too.
Okay, it's more cosmetic, right? In and out, kind of.
Yep.
In this business, sometimes you got to say no more than you say yes. Actually, right? Sometimes the best deal is a no.
Right? That's the thing is you got to say no. You can't get emotionally involved in the deals. If you get emotionally involved in the deals, you better plan on losing money. And that's the hard part is it's just numbers. If the numbers work, do it. If they don't do it. And sometimes you got to do things that you don't even know. The best piece of advice is no one really knows what they're doing. Some people just have the courage to get in there and do it anyway.
Yep. Do that heavy lifting and take matters into their own, take the bull by the horns, let's say, right? And
yes.
Awesome. Let's say for our audience who's listening, some of the newer people stepping into the space, what would you suggest? What would you encourage, impart your wisdom on the audience?
So get clear on what you want. What do you want your life to look like in a year, 2 years, 5 years? And that's really hard to do. I know, especially as a newer person that isn't used to that, because it was for me. But try to get clear. Say, what do I really want in a year? What makes me happy? Don't just do something because you think you'll earn a paycheck from it. What's going to make you happy, and what is your long-term goal? And if you have a long-term goal that's here, but you're doing this thing over here that's taking you in this totally opposite direction, at some point, you're going to just have to say no to this and then try to start over and work towards your long-term goal. Versus if you can just start there and start working towards that long-term goal. You're going to pivot. Everybody's going to pivot, but figure out that goal. Get crystal clear on that goal, and then start implementing the steps to get there. Don't be in such a rush that you have to have it in a month. This is a long-term game. No one understands that starting out. Most people don't because they want it now. But it is a long-term game, but be persistent and take action that's getting you towards your goal.
Thank you. That was awesome. I appreciate you. Thanks again, everyone. Rex Shippy in the house.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mando.
We'll touch base soon, and maybe we'll see each other in Boston.
Yeah, hopefully.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I love it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks again, Rex. We hope to have you back later on to see where your journey's led you.
I love that.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.